guys, we got another episode with you guys, a very exciting episode. I'm just gonna call you Pam because if I say Pamela, if I say Pamela, it doesn't come out. I get tongue tied. So I just
everybody
call
calls me Pam or Tax Girl.
So where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram at TaxGirl626. I'm working on my TikTok. I don't know what the TikTok name is, but I definitely get more traffic on the Instagram. So TaxGirl626.
There you go.
Super easy.
There you go. So now in Guerrero's podcast, we're gonna have a tax expert for you guys, which is gonna be helping me with my LLC as well.
Yes.
So, Pam, I really appreciate you giving me the time and opportunity.
So
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We finally made it happen. I know it took a minute.
Yeah, definitely. But
my apologies.
But the best thing about this is it's all done through networking, right?
Yes,
so it's not like I'm like looking for tax services, who I have to call and look for somebody. Mm-hmm. It was just being in the room, in the right place with the right people, and investing more than anything in myself and what I'm trying to do and get to, right? Mm-hmm. So I was telling Pam that coming into her office, the one thing that I enjoy about what I do is I get to go visit I don't want to call it work because I mean, you know.
This is like my home. This is my happy place.
Yeah, that's what I was like. When I'm working, I enjoy it. So.
Yeah, this is my happy place. Yeah. This is the office. This is my headquarters. So there has been some changes recently. I know I shared that with the Driven crew at the Mastermind, but yeah, welcome to Fontana, California.
It's pretty hot out today.
Oh my God.
I've been up since 3:30 in the morning with a 3.5 hour sleep.
How long is that drive?
It was like 6 hours. It wasn't too bad.
It's like whatever for you, huh?
I mean,
I know.
I'm not gonna lie, it takes a toll, but like just the energy being with people and excited about interviewing people just kind of keeps me up to the end of the night when I'm just like pass out, you know.
And then I also feel like when you go back to your setting, you're like pumped, right? Yeah. So it's an adrenaline.
Yeah, it's inspirational.
Oh, for sure, to hear people's stories.
Yeah, because I gotta go back and then back at home, and I get asked this a lot. It's like, why do you go all the way to LA? Well, because that's where I'm meeting people, man. I was like, where else would I go? It's like, if I go out here, I need to look for people. Out there, I already know the people. I already spend time with them. You know, I already network. Yeah. So it's much easier for me to reach out to you guys than it is for me to start looking for random people in my area, right? Which I kind of got to start either way. But today, I'm very excited to have you on because I don't know if this is true or not, but a lot of the small businesses, or at least one of the big businesses that I knew, went under, and the reason why they went under is because they didn't do anything right when it came to their taxes. So
we could definitely talk about that.
Yeah, it may sound like a lot of people may think it may be boring, but if you do have a business, it's that boring stuff is what's gonna save your butt from some big problems, right?
Yeah. So definitely, I think when it's adulting time, which I mean, I'm an 80s baby, so like I never thought when I'm like leaving high school, about to graduate, that I'm gonna go into the tax industry. No, it wasn't like that, but it happened. It was a situation we'll discuss, and so yeah, I think now as an adult, definitely the tax topic is important. Like, you definitely want to know who you're dealing with. You definitely want to work with someone that is available, reliable, and things do happen. But you definitely want to have somebody that's there to back you up when that happens. Yeah. As a business owner, there's different setups, there's different permits. You're dealing with local level, taxes, business, city taxes. You're dealing with permits, like seller's permits.
You're dealing with California.
California Tax and Fee Administration. You're dealing with franchise tax board. If you have that LLC, you're dealing with that annual fee. It's a lot of money involved, and if you don't pay things on time, if you don't do things on time, more money is going to be owed to the government. So yeah, definitely. So what happened with that tax business? I'm curious, what happened?
Which one?
So you said that a business went under or something.
Oh yeah, so
and you only know what you know. It's not too much detail.
So it was that business is kind of where my humble beginnings were at, where I started to work as garage doors, like in actual garage doors, right? And it was one of like the Goliaths owned by a family-owned Goliath in the community, right?
I see.
And a lot of that, or most of the reason why it couldn't take off after,
it couldn't scale.
It couldn't scale past what it was is because the person that ended up in charge was just gambling away the money, or it wasn't treating it like an actual business.
Yeah.
And then the other thing was that we knew about was just like, dude, the taxes, they're not getting taken care of.
Yeah.
This guy just draining it as much as he can, but not taking care of that part, right?
Yeah.
So me myself, that's one of the, I don't fear it because I know Pam, right? I know Pam. I know a lot of a few CPAs.
Yeah, for sure.
So and then listening to all these entrepreneurs, all these people that are way bigger, higher level than I am when it comes to revenue, and I'm just like, wow, dude, like I'm here tripping about 40K or 30K. But I mean, of course, if you let it run, it's gonna ruin you like big time, right?
Yeah.
But it's just the peace of mind having someone or knowing someone that can actually walk me through those steps.
For sure.
Right? It's like I wouldn't let you, like you wouldn't want to work on your garage door because it's like, whoa.
That's not my thing.
Right? So same thing with me, like finding someone that knows what they're doing, how to run construct an LLC and build it.
Yeah.
Like that brings just that's confidence for me.
Yeah, for sure. So that's definitely something that we do. I am there for businesses when they are starting. To take on a business that's already been operating and maybe not operating correctly, it takes a lot of work, because what happens is those owners are already accustomed to the bad habits, like commingling, like not treating their business as a business, like not paying themselves properly, using a business account for personal items. So that's a lot of work. And so what happens is sometimes we do drop clients because it's like, hey, like, you got to do it like this, and if you don't do it like this, these are the consequences. And sometimes it just we end up I've spent more time trying to correct things that are that we could have, if we met in 2021 and I told you do it like this, okay, you did it like that, we'll make some changes, we'll get it by. And if we're in 2024 and you're still doing the same thing, then we're probably not a good fit.
So you get to fire your clients?
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
Sometimes
you're the second person that tells me that,
and that's okay.
Yeah,
it's okay.
Sometimes I mean, even in my business, sometimes no business is good business sometimes, because the headache itself is not really worth it.
Yeah, it's definitely so it's definitely a challenge to make sure that you have the right person.
And do you help people or business owners or people from all levels when it comes to like how much they make?
Yeah. So and I have clients that sometimes initiate their LLC. Like I have a client that started their LLC in August, September, and they closed a really big contract. So now we're dealing with like close to 7 figures that was paid out before the end of the year. So we had to definitely consult. So we have our preferred in-house CPAs. They are not working for me, but we work alongside them. So if there is a case and I'm like, you know what, I need some tax planning, something that we need to figure out, I do have our preferred CPA that works with our clients. So that I think that's amazing that I'm able to, I'm not a CPA, I'm licensed on a state level. I could file taxes on a federal level, but there's different designations. So if you're licensed tax preparer in California, there's a certain department that handles our licensing and stuff. You could be an EA, which is an enrolled agent that requires extra testing with the IRS, and then you could be the CPA, and there's different levels to it. So not everybody's a CPA, no. Wow. So I will never take that from a CPA. I'm not a CPA, but I can hire one to work for my business. So
you gotta play smart.
Yeah.
So what is the biggest challenges, or like, I mean, like for now there's plenty of businesses that are kind of just stopping, right? Even in my industry, there's a couple that are just not even going anymore. Like, are you having any type of struggle like right now?
I do see, so I do run reports every quarter for certain clients. And yeah, I mean, I think what happened is during the pandemic, there was so much money floating around. So people got used to a certain way. And at that time, inflation wasn't too bad. So $100 still got you a full cart, maybe, I don't know about a full cart of groceries, but it still got you something, Now, I mean, the inflation. Yeah. So the cost of living, the cost of operating went up, and now the money is coming in a little different. So I do see a lot of clients that were living their best life during the pandemic. And so I feel like it's been like a roller coaster because people were spending that extra money doing those extra things. I will tell you that during the pandemic, a lot of clients that were really successful, that I just seen like, wow, they're doing great, were party planners, people doing the balloons, because people were throwing the biggest parties. They have a party for their kids, and they would have like, the little mini pancake stand. They had the decorations with the chandeliers, and those parties that you see on Instagram. And so all that costs money, and so I mean, if you recall, people were not able to go out. So what were they doing? Throwing parties at home?
Pretty hard,
too. So quinceañeras and all that. So anyway, they did well. And so then, when the money stops coming in the way it does, and that requires people to adjust their living too.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Or more than living their actual business, like how they actually run the business, because, I mean, and this is from what I noticed, right? It's just, there's certain businesses that do good when it's good, right? But when it comes to like the actual bad times, they're like, yeah, I just remember the good stuff, like how to do the good stuff, because it was coming in easy.
For sure.
And then like right now for myself, for my business, it's like, dude, I gotta hustle. And I don't even know.
I see you though. You're
it's
out
like
there.
I don't even know how in the world I'm actually getting the clientele and the actual. Well, I mean I do know, right? But it's like, how is it that I'm able to get the customers that I get, the deals that I get? And I'm just like, damn, dude. Like the other day, yesterday actually, I was sitting down having breakfast, lunch, and dinner, because that's how it goes. I was on the computer and just
fasting.
Yeah. So I was trying to close a deal, and then they hit me up. It's like, hey man, send me the freaking estimate. We need to close on this now. And I'm just like, wow, how am I even getting these deals, man? Like, it's a blessing, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, to come to the point is like, there's businesses, there's individuals that do good in the good times, and when it comes to bad times, they just totally lose their head. They're like, parecen pollos, gallinas sin cabeza.
Yes, headless chickens, yeah. It has to do with your mindset, because definitely in every business, there's going to be the peaks and there's going to be the slower times, right? So I, for example, will share with you that between the months of December through May, we're 100 miles per hour. So even for me to have to adjust, like I could clock in at my regular clock in time, which I like to be here between 8 and 9, because I with the kids in the morning, and then so I'm active with them, and then it's hard for me to clock out at a certain time, because I'm so used to going. But I need to tell myself, that's the mindset, like it's okay, go home, go hang out with the kids, because you've been so absent for December through May. Like, a business will consume you. Yeah. And then what's going to happen? Because you're a father. How old is your son?
He's about to be 4.
4, okay. So I will share with you that when I found out I was pregnant, like, I said, okay, I want to be that PTA mom. I want to be that mom that's outside waiting for the kids at 3, because I never had that. I grew up with a single mother. I was the oldest of 5. So I was like a little mom myself. So I'm like, that's not fair that I got robbed of it, and of that, I would see my friends getting picked up by their parents and all that, that traditional stuff. It wasn't like that. There'd be times where my mom, and I understand now, like, she would get out of work at 5:30, and the after school program closed at 6, and when you weren't signed out, you had to wait outside, and there'd be times where I'm like, what? And my mom driving, traffic and things, and I would just be sitting there, and I'm like, oh, that was my reality, So now I'm like, I know what I lived, and I want to do things a little different for my kids. So that's where I need to tell myself, like, hey, calmate, relax, it's okay. Yeah. It's not the end of the world. So what happened when my son turned 5 and I was ready to be that PTA mom? A freaking pandemic. I'm like, man, I was ready to go on those field trips. I was ready to, be there. But now I had to deal with a kid that starts kindergarten off a laptop, which I'm like,
it threw me off too, and that was just with my nephew.
I'm like, what the heck, right? So whatever, that pandemic situation was another blessing in disguise, because I had to adjust things for my business, and it just continues to take us to another level. That's these things that happen,
the pivotal moments.
Yes, the pivotal moments. And that's why, if you don't stop and say, relax, hold on, one thing at a time, your mind is all over the place, and you can make these permanent decisions off of temporary emotions and pensamientos and stuff. Yeah. So that's why, like, anytime I feel stressed out or whatever, I'm just like, okay, todo tiene solución. Like, what's the solution to this? I might not know it right now, but let me just go on about my day, and then something will click, right? Yeah. So that's one thing about me, is that I can be an overthinker, I can be an overanalyzer, but what happens to people like that? They most times overthink things and, don't take opportunities because you're overthinking it. Yeah. So I've identified those things about myself, so I understand, and most times now I'm like, you know what, YOLO. What's the worst that can happen?
No,
What's the worst that could happen?
What's it called? Paralysis analysis, right? Is what it's called.
Too much, yeah. So even me, I was like, God, I'm so irritated with myself.
So what was like something like right now that we're talking about pivotal moments, right? And you starting very young, like right after high school. Like what was that pivotal mind shift or that experience maybe, or something that happened that you're like, I need to do something?
Well, aside from getting into this industry at a very young age, like I said, I didn't plan to do this. I went to school for something else. But I also became married at a very young age. So being married and that situation not working out, my escape was work. So a lot of entrepreneurs might be able to relate, but sometimes you just didn't want to deal with things at home. So you're just, what do you do? I mean, me, I wasn't out there cheating or anything. I just was like, "Mo, voy a trabajar," you know, whatever. I could wipe my tears with dollar bills, like, you know, whatever. So, you know, I was really young, and then right when our marriage was about to just kind of dissolve, there I am talking like bed dissolve. I became pregnant. I'm like, I'm pregnant. Like, I've been married so many years and nothing ever happened. And then now when I'm just like, so that was definitely like, oh my gosh, shaking my head. So it happened. We tried to work it out. It didn't work out. Right when we were like, okay, it's not going to work out. Boom. My second blessing. I'm like, what?
We're getting stuck, bro.
At this time, we're like not together. We're trying to make it work for the family, but that was stupid. I'm like, it's not going to work out. So my kid, my two boys now, I'm a boy mom, so I have my 10-year-old and a 7-year-old, which is a perfect age. Looking back, I'm like, whatever, it is what it is. At least I have my kids, they can fight with each other, and I don't have a lonely kid with no sibling, you know? I'm like, whatever. So that definitely was an eye-opener, and it definitely taught me to, one thing I will never do is talk crap about that man or despite whatever, because it was my decision. I could have left and said, you know what, this and this is not making me happy. I could leave. So that's one thing that definitely made me open my, every action has a consequence, right? So better actions, smarter choices lead to better outcomes. So it's that simple in my mind. I'm like, okay, well, if I don't want to be like this, then I gotta eliminate this, cut these people out of my life. And so I will share with you that I live a very isolated life. I love it. Just me and my thoughts. And whenever I want to get out, I'll go and socialize and do things. I love to be around people, but I'm around a lot of people at work. So that's another thing, is that anytime someone has tax problems or they have an issue, like, we're like a sponge. Like, sometimes I have to remind myself, like, hey, that's not your problem, that's their problem. Because I get all sad. I'm like, oh my God, I'm stressed out. You know, I'm like, ugh.
Take on their stress too.
Yeah, right? Like, they'll go, oh my God, Pam, this and this, and I didn't do this, and they took money from my bank account, can you help me? And I'm like, oh my God, let me see what I can do. And like, here we are scrambling. My girls are calling the levy department, franchise tax board, and let it not be a busy day because we can't speak to an agent. So it's like a lot of adrenaline. Yeah. So sometimes I'm peopled out. If that makes sense.
You know, you gotta replenish yourself. Like, even when I go like to the driven events, or when I come out here, when I go back home, I just need like 1 or 2 days with nobody. Like my family, of course, right? But I cannot be around any. And like, I gotta replenish myself. You know? Because
that could come off as like, oh, se creen mucho, or, you know, but you don't understand that sometimes your mind, you know. So you know, I do see a lot of people that like in different industries that are a lot more. I will say I'm like an introvert with a little bit of like, I could adjust myself, because also too, if I was an introvert, I wouldn't have as much success with clients, you know. So I definitely know how to be, you know, around people and speak to people, but sometimes I'm just tired. I'm like, oh, I'd rather be in my little shell.
Not today,
you know?
Not today.
But I love people. But de lejitos.
Yeah, I can relate with you, because like,
right? Like, we have an on and off switch.
When I started the business, it was like, dude, like, I don't like talking to people. Like, my dad had to push me like and forth, like, not like, now I understand, right? But he had to push, like, no, vaya a tocarle, go knock, go ask, go tell him this, go tell him that. And I was like, why can you tell him?
I know.
It's like, because you need to go. But now it's like, it's a blessing that I know how to go up to and talk to people.
You even know how to speak to people. And that's another thing too, that these things that our parents implemented in us, I will tell you that I hire seasonal help, and a lot of times I like to give the young adults the opportunities to learn, you know. And I'm worried about our our young adults, because casi no, there's a lot of Latino young adults don't want to speak Spanish. They're afraid to talk to people. They live in a world where they're just like this.
Niños no saben, they speak two languages.
Yeah, so if you're a parent out there and you have a young adult that's graduating, because right now it's graduation time, it's all celebrations and stuff, but I'm the type like, okay, what are we going to do now? You don't have to wake up for school anymore. You're going to continue to go to school. You're going to have a job. It's a luxury not to work.
Yeah, and I was actually thinking about bringing my godson for that same mission. I was like, you're going to make sure that the phones at least are doing their thing.
You have
because then I take him to work, my dad takes him to work.
That's the best. That's free game right there.
Like, and they don't understand, No. Even when I was young, I would tell them, hey, don't get a trabajar, like fuck. Like we would bump heads,
Yeah.
But when now it's like, look where I'm at. I actually started a whole garage door business from everything that he taught me.
And you make your own hours. Yeah. You do what you want. You can
I
take a morning
travel.
off.
Yeah, I was like, I get to travel.
And then the cool thing is that once your son is like in school and stuff, if you continue to work, that you'll be able to attend those assemblies, those, all those little open houses that, so I don't know why they do those open. Sometimes they do events at my kids' school at like 9 a.m. I'm like, regular people, they can make it to this? Like,
people actually come?
I know,
like
right? Yeah, so, it's going to free up time. So that was one of the moments in my life where I said, okay, change starts now. When I became pregnant for my first child, I'm like, okay, pilas, we got to figure out how I could just continue to scale the business.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of complications, but when a kid is in, it's already there. So the same thing happened to me. It's like, damn, I used to live in like a little room. My mom would call it el chiquero. That's because literally that's, what chiquero is, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like a pig's freaking nest. Yeah. But no windows, one little door, like a little hallway to exit, probably like a third or half of this room. And there's like, dude, not the wife, it wasn't my wife at the time, but I was like, she's pregnant, my kid's gonna come, like, what am I gonna do? Like, there's no windows in here, there's no bathroom, like, fuck. And that's when it kicks in. It's like, all right, dude, now I have to do something.
Yeah, because you want to be that example for your child, like, there's a lot of, sometimes too, once your children are also too, you have to filter and be careful how much you're giving to the kids, because sometimes the other day, you want to do the best for your kids all the time. So the other day, my kids love soccer. They're soccer boys. They love soccer. So I'm like, let's go to LAFC game, right? So I take them and I get the best. I'm like, we're on the Lexus level suite. We're on the field. Like, my kids are on the field. They see the players. It's another life down there, right?
Yeah,
and
definitely.
then it's amazing. It's an amazing experience. So most times, anytime I go to an event, I prefer to get like suite access or whatever, just to
it's pretty cool.
Like, it's what so one of my son's classmates was also at the game, but he was on the top, and it's rowdy and it's fun. And I remember sitting at the bottom, and they're bringing us food, and it's all inclusive, so you literally could eat whatever you want. There's food, there's drinks, everything, beverages, there's a candy table for the kids, everything. And the kids were like eating, and then they're like looking, we're like, oh wow, Mom, it's so fun up there. You think we could be up there one day? And I'm like, yes, absolutely. And so then his friend comes down, he goes, Sebastian, oh my God, you're so lucky. And he goes, Mommy says I'm lucky. And I'm like, well, yeah, it's just kind of lucky, but don't worry, the next time we'll be up there. No, don't worry. So my kids, I think now, I'm like, I think I've accustomed them to things that are comfortable for me. Yeah. So they're used to it. And sometimes when we bring the other kids around, they're like, oh my God. And I'm just like, okay, maybe I should just, tone it down a little bit. And it's nothing extra. It's just, I'm used to I prefer a certain way to attend events, also like flying like first class or business class or whatever. Like, have you ever seen that reel of Steve Harvey where he's like, if you ever have a little bit of money, try going first class. Yeah, and I'm like, you know what? Why not? Ni más rica ni más pobre. I'm like, fuck it. Yeah. And so I'm used to sitting in the first 5 rows now. And so the other day, me and my boyfriend were talking about it. I'm like, God, I hate flying. Like, I hate going on a plane, and I have a lot of trips lined up in the next couple of months. And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm like, yeah. And then I have to sit there. And then I heard myself. I'm like, oh my God, cállate. I'm like, we sit and then we have to wait for the 30 rows to. I told myself, I was like, cállate. I was like, I'm going to get there. And then by the time the 30 rows line up and get on there, he's like, oh my God. I'm like, it's just too much.
I've only flown private, or not private, sorry, that's next.
Yeah,
but I only flown first class, I think like two or three times, and that was to our Hawaii, when we went to Hawaii.
Yeah. It's different.
Yeah, it is. I'm like, you got a whole little bed almost, and we're over here, big old
chill.
TV, everything. They give you cover and nice food, and I'm like, I don't want to fly anything if it's not first class, Like
when
now
you get a taste of things, you're like,
And then when I was when I was gonna fly out here, and I'm like, that's like $600 for like an hour.
I was gonna tell you, there's a Airlines, because we have an airport here, the San Bernardino Airport. So they have round trips from Frisco SFO, and I think they're really affordable.
Yeah, because when I was looking one way, it was like 400 something. I was like, man, I should have
these are like, if you look in advance, I think they're like $80 one ways. It's the small. It's in San Bernardino. It's called it's the San Bernardino Airport. It's not Ontario, but that airport has an Airlines Breeze, and it goes to like a handful of cities, and San Francisco is actually one of them. So I'll forward you, because you can look at the price calendar and say, okay, pues tal día voy, and that way you don't have to.
I mean, usually my wife is the one that takes care of this stuff, like the booking, the Airbnb or the motel, the hotel, whatever the hell we're staying. Like, you handle it, like you take care of it. You let me know how much it is. We'll figure it out.
How much does your wife help you with the business? Is she involved, or do you give her the opportunity, or no?
Yeah, one too many times.
Oh, really?
But she's like,
doesn't work?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So instead of me keeping bugging her about it, I'm like, you know what, it's okay. Like, I'm not. Yeah. Even if I try to have like my dad help me, it's like anything that's family related is a headache. Yeah. At least for me. So if let's say even if I ask myself, hey, help me with the assistant part, and like sending estimates, answering calls, like, so I don't have to be on the truck driving it.
You're a one-man band right now for everything. Wow.
So the only thing that's delegated is literally the editing for the podcast. I was like, I can't take on another thing, dude.
And that's on your to-do list, like to find someone to.
So right now what I'm doing, so that's why I got to start my LLC, right? Because before I start hiring, I want to have my LLC in place, have everything ready, right?
You ever considered those VAs?
Yeah, so I had one. And that was one of my actual learning experiences. They were answering my calls, but then they would forward me the call and be like, oh yeah, you need to answer this because we don't know. I was like, fuck. So I need to build up my SOP to, be like, everything's like, here you go, this is how you do it. So it was a good learning experience. I even had someone help me for about 6 months.
And if you don't mind me asking, were they out of the country?
Yeah, those were out of the country. And then I had another person that was within my city, actually. And they were doing basically everything in the office. And that's another lesson that I took. I was like, damn, dude, like, I really don't have a way for them not to call me. Like, they have to keep calling me. And we built a price list. We built like a bit of a SOP, right? So then the calls reduced a bit. And then I was like, oh, now I'm in my next problem. Not enough business, not enough cash flow. Like, how do I actually keep them? I was like, all right, now we need to work on this. So now I met with a guy named Carlos Avila.
Okay.
And he's helping me build all that, all my systems,
amazing.
all my SOPs, and like for every department from HR to hiring, which is HR, of course, and then marketing, general manager, like all this stuff I even brought my freaking binder too, because I was like, we're going to organize this shit, all right? Yeah. So now we're going basically through all these steps to make sure that I have everything in place. So so when I actually do hire somebody, which is gonna be in the near future, I'm already calling it August, August, June, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August.
Yeah, we're 6 months in the year already.
Yeah, so August. I was like August, no later than August. I think I told him September 5th or August 5th, one of the two. I was like, I want to have my GM or someone to take over what I'm doing. I was like, I'm fucking tired. Yeah. Like, I love what I do, but I don't love how I'm doing it. Right, so he's like, nah, dude, we're gonna get you out of here. So
are you gonna hire someone to take over your daily installations, and so then you're gonna focus on just delegating and just going to see the clients, and then delegating, send the invoice and the installation such date, and that's great.
For me, like you were saying, I was like, I'm good with people, right? But at the end of the day, I was just like, bro, I just don't even want to talk to anybody. Because that time that I spend talking to people, I like to get to know them. I actually like to build a relationship with them. I don't like to be like, here's a door, here's a sale, here's a receipt, here's the invoice, pay me. Like, to me, that's not business, right? It's just, it's a transactional thing. But I like to view it in a way that, hey, yeah, you're paying me, but I want to give you the best customer service. I want to give you the best experience. I want to, and this, and
tell
this,
their neighbors, and you're
this I learned from Jonathan Rodriguez is over promise and over deliver, right? He's like, nah, bro, you want to go over promise, and then once you come in with the over promise and over deliver on it, right? So when I went back after learning this, right, I was like, all right, well, not only do I need to go know my client, I need to go over promise what I'm gonna do for them, and once I come up with, you know, what I just did, then I'm gonna over deliver on it, whatever the case may be.
That's amazing.
And I mean, just those little changes alone makes a big difference on the business, right? So right now I'm working a little bit less and fucking just hitting the same thing as last year, like boom, boom.
For sure.
So now that I'm building the SOPs, right, it's gonna be much easier for me to be like, all right, dude, don't fucking call me. Here's the whole SOP for you. You'll be able to figure it out, and if there's something, then okay, call me. But I want to come to that point where it's like, all right, I have someone that's greeting the people. Right, for me will be like on the phone because we don't have an actual place. I have someone that's gonna go do the job. My job will be to go build a relationship, close the client, make sure that I build
put a face to the business. Yeah.
Correct.
That's amazing. I think you have everything figured out. It's just implementing.
And it's a little bit of time.
There's going to be some things that you're like, but that's the beauty of it. You're the boss. You're going to be able to say, you know what, I don't like this. I'll change this. And, you know, every day in business, there's always a new idea. Like today I was telling Izzy, she's my right hand, and I said, you know, we need to do this on our client intake. We need to add this. I've been in business for a while, and I'm like, even X amount of years in, I'm still modifying things that we're doing, and, you know, that's just what it is. And sometimes some of the craziest ideas that actually work out I get when I'm like at home asleep, or when I'm like about to go to sleep. I'm thinking like, what am I gonna do?
That's when the brain starts racing. Yeah.
So
are you building your business to sell it, or are you planning on like running it forever?
I enjoy what I do. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure, you know, I get offers from H&R Block all the time. So because we are licensed ERO office, so we are able to hit e-file on a return. Those numbers that we do are, these companies have access to them. So a lot of times these franchises, they are like, they call them like regional offices and stuff. So every year I do get a letter saying, hey, are you considering selling, you know? And so, I mean, the opportunities are there, you know. Personally, me, I've never thought of buying a business that is already kind of established because, you know, but yes, we're always thinking of the exit strategy for sure. And I'm sure if I were to hire somebody to structure the sale, it would do great. But I don't know if you're used to dealing with such and such at tax office, you know, and it happens, but I don't know if a client would be what the retention would be like, right? Because if you've been dealing with such and such at, you know, Rapid Income Tax, which is my business, then you go up and you're like, wait, who's there, you know? So, you know, I could see that being, but that wouldn't be my problem. It would be the new buyer, you know. But sometimes there are rules that you must follow. Like sometimes they'll offer you like employment, like, okay, you sell to us, but you're an employee for X amount of years because you're the face, and little by little you start fading. So, but I mean, for now, I love what I do, and now it's a lot more interesting with AI.
Yeah.
So I'm actually just doing a lot of research, and I'm implementing certain things with AI, and it's so much fun.
So how are you doing with you applied in your marketing?
Not yet. So that's something that I want to work on. The best form of marketing for us has been just giving the customer the best service and just getting that referral. So we're almost like a referral based business. Like we get, you know, we have our storefront, which, you know, people are able to come in. Some people prefer like the virtual businesses, but definitely we do make sure that our listings are up to date online. I hate calling a business and no one answers, so I'm always calling my businesses to make sure the phones are being answered. After tax season, after tax season, we're still open 6 days a week, so that definitely puts us aside from other tax businesses in the area. Because a lot of times, you know, even if you try to call that H&R Block or Jackson Hewitt or whatever, they are are, selected days a week between certain hours. No. Like, we're still working Monday through Saturday.
Yes, are operating no matter what, right?
Yeah. And so sometimes people call, like, I called and you guys weren't there. And I'm like, well, Sundays is our day off. Like, we're here Monday through Saturday.
One day, come on.
I know, right? So, yeah, definitely the consistency, familiarity. So, I get a lot of DMs on Instagram. Like, hey, I need help. All right, cool. I already have, like, on my notes, like, something where, like, hey, give us a call. I'll be more than happy to help you. And so my girls are trained to just make sure that we take care of that client or that lead. And so, we have systems in place. We have phones, but we also have a texting app on our desktops.
Nice.
Because I do find that more clients are down to answer a text than to answer a phone call.
Especially nowadays.
Yeah, so my girls are like, and that's, again, COVID. We had to get out of our comfort zone. Like, hey, this is just, I guess people with COVID were even afraid to answer their phone. I don't know.
No me lo vaya a pasar por el teléfono. No, yeah, right now that you mentioned that, it was, I think it was Carlos that told me that. It's like, hey, we got to make sure that we reach out to our clients through text. Like, not necessarily calling, because there's, what's our generation? Is it what generation are we?
I don't know. Where's Alexa? What is it?
Seriously. Well, whatever generation we are, we're used to the phones, right? And then the newer generation, they're even more phone, right? So it's much easier for them to reply back through a text than it is like, hello.
So guess what? My clients, because I am the founder of my business, I deal with like the OG clients. So my business, I didn't want to stroke my ego. It's not Pamela's income tax service. No, it's not Pam's tax. It's not tax girl service. No, it's Rapid Income Tax, and I'm an employee. Exit strategy, right? So again, if Pamela's tax service is sold and Pamela's not there, they're gonna be like, no. So if I wanted to have that time off, I needed to make sure that the clients knew that I worked here, but we also have amazing team members that are also going to be as well as great as me, right? So that's one thing, is I didn't cut corners. All of my girls are fully licensed with everything. And so most of my girls came to me with no experience, so which was great because they were open to learn. And so they're licensed. So we're also an insurance agency. So we sell like a lot of personal insurance, like auto, home auto. Auto's a little hard right now, but we also sell a lot of commercial. We sell bonds. We sell a lot of different types of insurance for businesses, liability, business owner policies. So all of my girls are licensed. And I always tell them, like, I don't want to cut corners, because like in every industry, any government agency could come in at any time to say, hey, here's my badge. Let me see your licenses, right? For taxes, we have requirements. We also have our instant DMV registration. So we actually have DMV inventory that the DMV allows us. We're almost like a AAA, but not a AAA. So that requires background checks, licensing. And then we have one of the our life scan service. So we deal with a lot of individuals that are getting licensed in different areas. So during the pandemic, our numbers were amazing, because all the nurses and doctors that were coming out of retirement to go work at hospitals, it was a ghost town. All tax offices, all life scan businesses, they closed. They're like, screw this.
Well, Pam was up and running.
Oh my God, I have pictures where I had lines out the corner. Like, I was busy. I was the only one doing the life scan. And my girls are so amazing. Like, we literally put a table at the door. We had the machine here. We had the glasses, and we had the stuff. And actually, Department of Justice and or Secretary of State, they actually gave us a paper, like, if you get in trouble for being out, and now it sounds so silly, huh? Like, we could have got in trouble for driving because it was a mandatory shutdown, right? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like, we had a letter saying that we were a business that was permitted to be outside. Yeah. So
it's like, you actually had to get a permit to be outside. Like,
right? Yeah. So so what I'm getting to is, when you are gonna hire individuals, be open, to training them, and don't cut corners. Once you're able to identify the right person, I like to go all in. And I tell the girls, like, you know what, with the great customer service, you're gonna learn something that for whatever reason, it's time to part ways, because I feel like things are seasonal. So I've actually, the retention with my team is great. And I'm like, but I know that there's something after working with me. And whatever you learn here, you're going to take it. And no one could take that from you. So I always tell my girls, like, offer the best customer service. And you never know, like, one day if you ever wanted to start something on your own, like, do things right, let me know. We could work together. So that's when, I am also a tax software provider. So I have offices that are operating tax services, and they are using our Rapid software. So it's, a lot of learning opportunities. When
like there's some businesses that they don't even want to, like, they wouldn't even want to teach or even show a way out to their employees. That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to, I mean, I will be happy to work with a company that's going to show me the ropes of the business, and then it's like, hey, if you want to go, like, I support you, like, but they don't do that,
No. Well, that's what I needed to do to have that time off to go to Cancun, to do this, to do that, to take a couple of days off. That's what you need to do sometimes. And there might be business owners that don't agree, but it works for me. So, Do
you ever had or someone that you were trying to hire come up and be like, I want to get paid this much, and you're like a ridiculous number or something?
So what happens is with the team, depending on what we are licensed to do, there's opportunities to earn more. So we sell insurance, and there's opportunity to get commission off of that. When we do taxes, it is also a commission opportunity. So there's opportunities.
Okay.
And it's like, it's a sale. So if we get a certain amount of leads and opportunities, I've never not offered an opportunity to somebody in my office. Like if one of my girls were to say, you know what, Pam, I'm interested in doing the insurance stuff. Okay, well, figure it out, look into what it takes, and if it's something that you feel you're capable of doing, then 100% I'm down to invest. What I do tell my girls is, don't overwhelm yourself. If it's not for you, I don't want you to be discouraged. So sometimes I have told like a couple of girls, like, I don't think right now is the time. Give it a little bit more time, learn this and that. That's my opinion. But a lot of times, if they wanted to go out and invest, fine, save your receipts. When it's time to celebrate your accomplishments for passing, let me know, and I'll reimburse you for what you... Because si les doy todo así, like, no, if you want to do it, you got to, put some money to get your licensing, your trainings and stuff like that. Now, if it's something that I offer, like, hey, look, I feel you're ready for this. Is this something you're interested in? I listen to my team and like see what they feel. But I don't like to set them up for failure. So also, it's a little discouraging to not pass a test.
Yeah, it does hit pretty
I
bad.
failed a few tests, and I'm like, oh my God, like, hasta vergüenza me da. I'm like, oh my God, yeah.
Do you consider yourself a good leader, like, within your company?
I try. I hope. Let's call one of my girls. That's right. I don't know.
Ocupamos testigos.
There's no blueprint.
No,
there's no blueprint, So that's why self-improvement is definitely important. I try not to micromanage. I don't feel like that's my thing. And that could be a good thing or a bad thing, because sometimes, like, I feel like I'm very understanding. I'm very easygoing. And I tell the girls, look, this is what we have to do. As long as we get it done, we're good. Yeah.
You sound so chill. Like, it's like, man, why can't actual bosses be like that? I mean, good thing that they're not, because I would have probably still been working for one, but it's like, it's just been...
Yeah, that's what I tell my girls. Like, look, like, right now we actually have like a little contest in the office. So for the 5-star Google reviews that we get, between a certain amount of time, whoever was the person that helps them stick their hand into a box that I have full of gift cards.
Oh, nice.
And so, like, I think recently, so Jessica is, she's at my La Puente office, and she's, like, amazing, and she pulled, like, 4. And so what happens is every 2 weeks, like, usually, like, on when we end the pay cycle, depending on how many 5 stars you accumulated, you get to stick your hand. And so it's like gift cards from like Best Buy, from Subway, Starbucks.
Nice.
So I went and bought like hundreds of dollars of gift cards and just threw them in there.
I was gonna say, I got hella reviews just in the past 3-4 months.
Yeah.
Like, I was like at 20-something, 23 Google reviews, 5 stars, and then in the last what was it, October, January? Yeah, like in the last 4 months, I crossed it over. Literally 4 months, I crossed it over 100.
Oh wow!
And I'm like, dude.
How'd you do that?
CRM through a system.
Yeah. Because me, I'm like, I hate to ask for reviews. Like, because taxes could be so, just a topic that's very personal and private. You know, I almost feel like when people go out there to be like, oh yeah, she did my taxes, I feel like that's a little like, I don't ever want my client to feel like I'm asking them to expose who their tax preparer is, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, so I do deal with some influencers. I do deal with just clients that are just on another level, like in the entertainment industry. You will never know because I deal with them and it's very private, very personal because they live a certain life and it's like the last thing I want to do is make them feel like, you know, oh my God, like I got to do this. So I don't ask for those promotions or nothing. If they want to shout me out, hasta la pienso sometimes to repost it because I'm like, oh my God, like. I don't know. Maybe that's me being a freaking overthinker.
Yeah. But you know, so like for me, what I like to do is I don't ask for Yelp reviews because me too. I was like, one, I hate Yelp.
It's
Two,
like business. They harass you.
Yeah.
Like
no kidding. And then I do tell them once we pretty much process your payment, what's gonna happen is you're gonna get your receipt and then you're gonna get a text. Just let us know how we did. And then they get their text, a link straight to them, and then they don't have to like search for the name or anything. They just go pretty much directly to
what if they put that's my fear is that you're dealing with someone that just puts 1 star by accident.
The system, and up to now, even with that little, it has a thing where if we get reviewed 3 stars or less, right, from that initial link.
It says, hold up.
Yeah, it pretty much, it says, well, thank you for your feedback. We'll let the crew know or the company know, right? But it doesn't post it up, right?
Oh, wow.
It basically, if you
Filters?
put like 4 or 5, it filters it, right? But if they put 4 or 5, then it's like, thank you, can you please leave a review on Google?
Wow, I gotta learn about that.
Yeah, so, but the thing is, up to now, I haven't got it any 3, any 2, any 1. I got in 2 4 stars. One was because I didn't reply the phone in the first 5 seconds. She didn't even give me a chance to work with it. Yeah. And then the second one was I ordered the wrong size door, right? So I was like, okay, that I understand. I could have definitely not fucked it up, right? But I was like, I'll take the force. And now also, like when I tell, I was like, you know, when you get the link for the feedback, whether you give me a 5 star, which I appreciate it, or you give me a 1 star, I'm still gonna win because even with your 1 star, that means I got work to do. So I appreciate it either or. And then I walk away. Yeah, I'm not, because I mean, think about it. 5 star, 5 star, 5 stars. Like, is this guy paying for his freaking?
I don't. You know? Yeah, you're right. I never thought.
It looks a kind of a little fake, but at the same time, it's like, well, I'm only got two 4 stars. I got rated the best in my neighborhood.
Area?
Yeah, in my neighborhood through Nextdoor. I don't know if you've heard of Nextdoor.
Yeah, I have.
So I became a favorite 2023 favorites. I got their award, and then I went from top 10, to top 5, to top 3, and now top 1 this year.
With no paying anybody.
Nope.
That's great.
Yeah,
just investing in your internal.
Correct.
You know, okay, that's great.
Giving that great customer service, making sure that they're getting taken care of. Like, I have customers that call me like, Jonathan, did you look on Nextdoor? There's somebody looking for a door here. I'll send you, and they send me the link.
So do you have like Facebook or?
Yeah. Facebook. I got all the socials.
And all that's forwards to your cell phone.
Mm-hmm. To the CRM system. So like through my work phone, what it does is basically I give it, and this is how I used to do it before. I used to have to open a page for email, a page for text, a page for my Instagram, a page for Facebook. Like, it was just so much, and I'm like, dude, I am like ready to
back and forth.
Yeah. And then I met a guy through one of the 5K masterminds, and then he's like, oh yeah, man, we built CRM systems on steroids, and I'm like, what the fuck does that even mean?
Yeah.
Like, dude, I could take.
Who is it?
His name is Rafael Hernandez. Automatrix.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna send you his number. He's fucking awesome at what he does. And now he's actually, I'm trying to get him so he could help me do my ads. Okay. But once I built everything with Carlos and my LLC, then I will start everything. But basically, what he did, he put Go High Level on steroids for me. And what he did, he put basically my system to work for my business the way I like to run it. It's not like a freaking template from someone else, right? It's just like my template. And then we have everything from keeping track of all my KPIs, from the cash coming in, the work getting done, estimates sent.
Wow.
Like, everything is there for me, right? I don't have to like jump from page to page. I could literally open this and look at an invoice, look at an estimate, look at my numbers, who paid me, who hasn't paid me, who's made deposit, like everything is on there. And it's just like,
Oh, wow.
it took a lot off my head. Like
Wow.
I didn't even, once he did that and I'm like, dude, I literally had this all in my head. And then he goes, yeah, pretty much,
This
man.
was your CRM.
Yeah. So that's why now working with Carlos is like,
Mm-hmm.
we talk about, like we were going over some points. And then he goes, yeah, man, like, are you doing this? I was like, yeah, in my head. Do you got this down? Yeah, in my head. Do you have this down? Are you doing it? Yeah, in my head. It's like, all right, now we need to transfer everything that's in your head on freaking paper, man.
Oh, that's
So,
hard.
Yeah, it is. That's why I got someone else to do it, because I'm done. And he told me, he's like, well, I can show you how to do it, but it's going to take you forever. I'm like, nah, man, I got it.
Yeah.
And he goes, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, I got it. Like, all right, well, I'm still going to help you. I kid you not.
Yeah.
While I'm doing my work, even if I'm like right here right now, he's doing his thing on the back end, making sure that we got our we got our modules, we got our tabs going, we got our system,
That's
our SOP.
amazing.
Yeah, so it helps build something without me being there,
Yeah.
right? And then at the same time, I'm learning how to do all this stuff too, which
Yeah.
is boring to some people, but to me, it's actually pretty
to
exciting.
me, I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm interviewing you.
Yeah,
I'm
but
like,
it's
"Just tell
pretty.
me."
Yeah, no, it's pretty exciting. And then like
Yeah.
right now, like you brought your what do you have in that is it a folder or is it a?
It's a binder.
It's a binder.
The binder with the sleeve. So so one of the services, like I said, we deal with a lot of startups.
Mhm.
And they'll reach out to us and say, hey, like, so right now there's a lot of things happening with the government. 1099Ks, Cash App, Venmo, Zelles going under the radar. All
Bitcoin.
that's going to be going, all that's going to be,
Terminated soon.
things are going to be exposed, you know what I mean? And so I tell people, like, get ready, stay ready. You know, anytime that you are generating money, guess what? The IRS allows you to deduct expenses
Correct.
that are ordinary and necessary to operate your business. So a lot of times people have their side hustles, but to make money, you're still spending money. So, you know, right now Cash App just added that feature. So when you're going to Cash App somebody,
Oh, that's right.
you got to let them know if it's business, personal. Same thing with Venmo.
Mhm.
So things that are business are going to go exposed. The
Yeah.
IRS is putting pressure on these companies to
start putting it out.
It's been in the talks and works for the last couple of years, but the infrastructure, it takes time for these companies
To change.
So it takes time. So anyway, so this particular client, he is a consultant. He does pretty well. He's in sales. And he is an individual who started his stuff on LegalZoom. And he's known me forever. We've done work together. I do his personal return, but the person that is helping him transition from employee to self-employed said, "Oh yeah, we'll do it on LegalZoom." So he came to me. He's like, "Hey Pam, you know, él por no decir no or whatever, you know, he's like, let me show you what they've done." And so he showed me what they done, and I was looking at the invoice, and none of the things he paid for were available. So I'm like, okay. He went to buy a car. He didn't have the EIN paper, you know, and he had an EIN number that was just like written in, you know, on a paper. But IRS has a structure of how to have the, you know, they have a unique form. So I'm like, all right. So I did like a compliance check on a LegalZoom setup, and I was very disappointed. And I'm like, wow, things that are not going to be filed on time are going to be assessed penalties. So if he didn't come to me and look at my checklist of things that you need to do to start a successful startup, you know, with the registering of certain agencies, like, he would have been on the hook. He hubiera empezado mal. So anyway, so what we do is, you know, we have a list of things that, depending if you wanted to go LLC or corporate, we have a checklist. And so depending on our interview and what I feel is best, I will make my recommendations. But most times clients come in and they're like, hey, I want to start this. And I'm like, all right, perfect. And that's when the conversation starts. And we go more into depth, like as far as what their needs are. So presentation is everything. So I have clients that come to me like, oh, I started my LLC with this person, and they give them like a manila folder. No, nothing wrong with that, but you know, we go a little bit above.
Yeah, I was
and
like,
beyond.
that looks way more professional.
Yeah,
you
so
know?
this is a place that all your business information can be located.
That looks so cool.
It is, and you know, I can't put too much, but it's engraved. the business name. You could locate all your important documents. You could document things on here. I will be honest with you, most times when you need the information, you're probably not going to carry this in your car, right? So my clients do have access to this on a shared drive, you know. So, but yeah, this is what we do. We set up a lot of startups. We deal with DBAs. We deal with sales and use, filings. If you have an entity that you started, maybe you want to dissolve it. If you have an entity and it's suspended, we reinstate it. There's so many things. That's one of the things about my industry, and that's why I say, like, I get people out, because we have to be problem solvers. So I need to listen to what your problem is and come up with the solution, so that when I speak, I have something to, right? You're not going to come to me and I'm going to be like, oh, well, you know? So, you know.
No, I got you. It's that's why I said I'm glad I ended up bumping into you, because I got plenty of problems for you.
Oh, shoot. So, yeah, we're ready. And I love it because we learn so much. Yeah. You know,
and so, like, for my business, I'm kind of like in those. I put myself in those. I made myself be in those type of scenarios or situations, because my slogan says, "We say yes when the competition says no." Mm-hmm. So no matter what the problem is, like, we can get it done for you.
So like,
there's really no. I had a client ask me, he's like, "Have you ever had someone?" Because I told him, I was like, "My slogan is we say yes when everybody else says no, so you can do the job." I was like, "Yeah," and then she's like, "Have you ever had anybody tell you no?" I was like, "Or have you ever said no to a client that you couldn't do the job?" I was like, "Yeah, because they don't want to pay."
Well, yeah.
You know, but it's like there's literally no problem that we cannot solve.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, yeah. You're offering a solution, and this is a price.
Yeah.
And if we're not in the budget, well, hit us up when we are. Yeah. Right.
I mean, think about it. Like, all this business is coming to Pam, right? Mm-hmm. To your to come and do their taxes, and there's maybe a situation where it's like some other firm cannot do it, or some other office can do it, but they're like, I can.
Somebody. Well, what happens a lot is God, it's so sad. Sometimes, like, I used to deal with somebody, but they passed away. Oh, shit. Or most people, where they're at, they stay there, unless something like that happens, or maybe they're retired, or, you know, maybe the person that they used to deal with is not there anymore. So, for the most part, those are the most common things that I've dealt with. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you gotta take on every single problem. That's
like earlier, I had somebody. I made a video that went very viral because I like to go to the casino for fun, and so I live very close to one. And my video went viral, and I got like tons of follows and reshares and likes, and it's still doing well. And I got so many gamblers that are like, I need to do my taxes. I'm terrified. I don't know what to do, and I'm like, I love come through. Like, I'm so excited about those taxes. I'm like, let's go. So anytime you gamble and you win a hand pay, they give you a tax slip on the spot. So imagine winning in January. You have to save that a whole year. Yeah. So we have a lot of clients right now that are on extensions because they don't know how much they won. They didn't keep track. So we pulled the IRS reports, and I have reports that I've pulled that are like 50 pages because they're gamblers. They're serial gamblers.
Oh yeah, they're definitely on it.
Yeah, so I deal with so many different cases, and I deal with a lot of the undocumented community too.
Yeah, so I was gonna take this. I mean, my parents they gamble too, but I think they lose more than they actually win, man. So I was like, at this point, is like you probably get a return on your losses, you know.
No, you can't get a return on your loss. Unless you have taxes withheld, but most times they'll allow you to write off up to your earnings. So yes, you could spend $10,000, but if you went under the radar and won money without a hand payout, like they say, if you win $10,000, you're able to deduct up to $10,000 if in fact you spent $10,000.
So they have to get it spent back into the casino type deal.
If you get audited, you have to have proof. So, for example, if your parents are gamblers, like my mom's a gambler, I'll run into my mom sometimes and she won't even let me know she's there. And I'm like, oh, mírala. I gotta find her.
Me llegó la invitación.
Yeah, I'm like, So, let's just say that and I've heard it happen. Let's say you are walking through a casino and you see a machine, you put $1, you hit spin, and boom, you hit a jackpot. But you're not a gambler because there's people that are not gamblers. Yeah. Chances are you're not going to be able to legitimately write off that jackpot you won because it was a luck thing. You were just right. But there are people that are like, all right, here's my $1,000. I'm gonna go to the casino right now, and it's an all day thing. And they win, they lose, they win, they lose. So that's what the video was about. It's like, make sure you get the little player's card because they track how much you win and you lose. So it's that's a whole nother podcast.
No, yeah, I was like, man, I'm over here thinking about everything. Like, I mean, I don't like gambling myself.
Yeah.
Just because if I'm kind of hoping that if I ever do, it's like, I want $1. Oh, there we go, $10,000. But it's not gonna. I was like, I don't like gambling. Like, I spent probably like $200 last time I went to Vegas, and I was just in the penny machines.
Yeah.
Just killing time, honestly.
Yeah.
But gambling is not.
Yeah. So I've found that the gamblers at the casino, sometimes they don't know who, that conversation, you know, as far as like, oh, I do taxes, and if you ever need, you know, a return done and you're a gambler and you need, you know, just questions answered, there's a big opportunity there. So I'm working on that right now.
And I'm pretty sure, I mean, up to now, I think it wasn't until I saw that video that I was like, people actually have to do taxes with this?
Yeah.
Like, what the hell? I thought it was just like money won, money lost. It's like, is your gambling thing,
Uncle Sam, Bill Sam wants a cut of everything.
Of course, if there's money involved, they want their cut, especially that. And in California got to get their money on too.
That's another thing too, that like also having a business in California that's operating and paying it's a luxury too. Mm-hmm. So definitely my plan is not to stay in California. At one point, I definitely want to leave California.
I think I'm almost there too. Like, I like California, but I don't like it like that
Yeah.
anymore. And it's getting kind of like.
Well, now that you making the money, you're like, oh man, I gotta pay who? What?
I can actually move.
Yeah, I can actually be comfortable. Yeah.
So let me ask you.
It's crazy.
When you starting very young, right? It's gonna kind of take it a little back, but you starting very young, doing what you currently still doing, right? Mm-hmm. Building a team, building your business. Would there be something that you would do different? Let's say like even though you said you wasn't gonna be like you didn't plan on doing this, you were like in a whole different field type deal. Would there be something that you would do different to either be better off today that you could be like, I could have done this different, or you would have been like, maybe I should have went that route?
No, I feel like I'm gonna say no. Like in my heart, my first thing is no, because I feel like everything that I've done has been to improve. And every situation I've experienced has made me grow. So that's one thing, is that I always challenge myself to the next thing. So there hasn't been a year where I have not grown. Oh, so I do measure my growth. I do measure, like, you know, obviously for me, I'm a Leo. I can't sit still. I'm always thinking, what's the next thing? And that's where I'm like, okay, what's the next thing? Because I don't feel like I am doing much if I don't have the next challenge. So I do set goals. I am big on manifesting. If you go to my house, I have my vision boards throughout my house. I throw a yearly event it's a vision board party, which I'll show you the clip. It's an amazing event. And yeah, we basically, I have, it's an exclusive invite. It's about 30 people that come in, and we had a whole photo shoot. We had everything. It was so much fun. Yeah, it was at my house. I hosted it at my house. It was a very special invite to a lot of my mentees. They came in, and we did our vision board. We had drinks, we had food, and it was a big party.
And big visions.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. And
I'll show you.
It's pretty cool that you actually brought this up, because that was one of the topics I wanted to touch. And not that I forgot about it already, but it's like it comes into the conversation, which is beautiful. So I actually wanted to ask you about manifestation, and if you're a believer in it, which of course you just mentioned that you are. Yeah. But what do you think besides having a vision board? Because we can all post pictures or post little cutouts into a board, right? What do you think really needs to happen for you to make that vision board come to life?
You need to believe it and believe in yourself. So you could cut up little pictures, but if you don't believe it, you know. So my vision, I'll tell you, anybody that's gone to my house, I have subliminal messages throughout my house. I have things in my restroom. My housekeeper knows not to clean it. And I have things in my room. I have things I have to remember.
Like on plain sight for you, right?
So in this office 3 years ago, in looking back at my phone last night, I was going through some stuff, and I loved the Rolls Royce. I'm like, fuck, I don't want a Rolls Royce. I want a Rolls Royce. And I was very particular. I want the Wraith. I want the Rolls Royce Wraith. I want the 2-door. Because I'm like, I don't want a 4-door. I'm young. Like, I want a 2-door, you know, whatever, sporty. So I've had it on my vision board. And so I was talking to one of my mentors, and I'm like, you know what? He tells me, how are you doing? How are your... I have a mentor that he is not on social media. He does very well. He's a very low-key looking person. But when you meet him and you speak to him, I feel like he was sent, like, definitely an angel. Like, because of the conversations I've had with him, I've been able to continue to keep my eye on the prize and make the moves to have my dream home, to have my dream car. So long story short, I was like, look, there's my picture with my Rolls Royce and on my vision board. And then a year later, he goes, so how's that going? He goes, it's going to happen this year. How's it going with the Rolls Royce situation? I'm like, well, I don't know. And so then I was looking at my vision board, and I was like, you know what? And it's on the Driven, because Sil and Albert was like, hey, shout out to Pam, I got a Rolls Royce. I was like, oh my God. It was a big deal for me because, coming from like nothing, literally. And all I did was cut a picture of myself, and I put it on the Rolls Royce driver's seat. And that was, I think, within the next couple of months, there was an opportunity for my Rolls Royce. And I was like, and if you look at the picture, it's identical to the car I'm like,
that is freaking cool.
And it's crazy because I'm like, wow. So looking back at my old vision boards, I've saved all of them. One of my dream cars was the G-Wagon. I'm like, oh my God. So that was one of my first like luxury vehicles. It was the G-Wagon. And that was on my vision board. And then I will share with you that I was like, there was this girl, and she's famous, and I idolized her. I was like, oh my gosh, she's so cute. She's so pretty. And I would cut her out, and I'm like, oh my God, I love her look. I want to look like her. Like, she's so cute, whatever. And then I'm going through a divorce. And guess what? That girl had all kinds of mess behind her with divorces and stuff. And I was like,
shit.
la quité rápido. I was like, how scary is that? But I could identify that now, looking back, like, wow. So you have to be careful, so I try not to put anybody on my vision board. I like to put more of like the things. So one of the things that before I got my dream home where I live, I had posted a home, and it's identical to my home, palm trees and everything. And to me, that was like, oh my God, I would love to live in a house in the hills with palm trees. Guess what? 2022, I closed escrow on my dream home. And it's freaking crazy. And not everybody's gonna believe it, and that's fine. But if you go hard on yourself, I'm not talking about just go hard on what you believe, lay it out, and just look at it. That my vision board, there's still a couple of things that I haven't accomplished on it, but one of the things that I've always done anytime I've gone to the Drivens, I've always taken a picture on the podium. And I have pictures, and I've had my videographers and photographers take pictures of me. And I think Sil and Albert have seen me, but I'm like, hold on, I'm just manifesting. And yeah, like, sorry guys, like, I'm on your stage, but I'm just manifesting. And so that was a vision board that I had put into rotation in December of 2023. So it's still there. And so next month I will be a speaker at a very important tax event that I got invited to. And I'm like, yes. So honestly, it works for me. There are going to be the naysayers, but that's what I'm saying. Like, give it a chance. Be open.
Yeah.
Because, when you're thinking positive and you're just thinking like, I could attest, like, yeah.
It works.
Yeah, it works.
And I'm with you because the reason why I wanted to touch on this topic is because, of course, we just had the 30K mastermind, right? I mean, the 30K inner circle.
Yes.
Not too long ago, right?
Yes. We had our brunch.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm like sitting in a table with all these heavy hitters, like Diego dice, like, I'm the smallest in the room. Of course, I know what he means, right? It's a small in the room as in, hey, I want to be the one that doesn't know everything because I want to pick up more stuff.
That's how I feel.
But like, I'm going in there and I'm like, bro, I'm already making like 6 figures. There's people over here on the million, the billion. I'm like, what the hell am I even doing here?
Yeah.
But the reason why I brought it up was because I have 5 years. Well, 2018 is when I started my business, right? Literally COVID next year.
Yeah.
But it was a good thing for me that all the people were staying home because then it brought me more business. But but the reason why I wanted to talk about it was because being in that freaking 30K inner circle, and then talking with Leo, and then talking with Jonathan, and then talking with freaking Diego, and then
They're
talking.
all amazing.
Yeah, like they have like this ideas that I'm just like, wow. And then I'm walking away with Jonathan, and there's like, we're thinking too small, bro. We're thinking too small.
Oh, Jonathan's amazing.
Yeah, dude, like freaking cool ass dude, man. I mean, for me, I like talking to my customers, but the one thing I do is I answer, I was like, hey, so if you were to come, I was like, thank you for calling All Roads. My name is Jonathan. How can I help you? And then it's like, oh, my garage is this, my garage. And I just let them talk. And then once they stop, I'm like, all right. I kind of repeat the problem back. And it's like, well, this is a solution. Do you have like pictures or videos you can send over? It's like, can you come give me an estimate? I was like, send me the pictures. It's like, that will save you on the trip.
I don't even need to go. Yeah.
I know, but so it's just like when you answer, that's the type of warm way to invite them to come. You know, it's not like, fuck, what do you want?
No. Well, that's what I tell them. Like, I tell my girls, like, hey, people are frustrated when they're looking for these kind of services, so we're there to make them feel like, oh, I'm gonna go there.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
So a lot of times, like, yeah, my job sent me, or someone sent me, and I'm like, okay. Or I need to do my taxes, but I don't know what I need. Okay, well.
It sounds like everyone.
We need your forms. If you don't have your forms, these are the options. What's your position? What's going on? What are you missing? So, you know, and I always, so that's one of the things that I was telling you, like, when we get the missed calls and stuff like that, we look at the log, or, well, hey, we had a missed call. How can we help you? Whatever.
Nice. Yeah,
and so I'm kind of careful with a lot of the AI stuff for communicate, like bots and stuff, because I feel like I don't like to get those messages. Like, I like more organic, you know. Yeah. So
you don't like seeing the please reply stop if you don't want any more.
Yeah, that's true. That they can do that to us too. But most times they're like, oh, I need this, or what's your address, or, you know, let me text it to you. All right, thank you.
Yeah, that's a human interaction.
Yeah,
it's much better.
Yeah.
Like for my system, I have a thing where if I don't answer, AI sends them a message.
Oh yeah.
It says, thank you for calling All Roads. We got your call. Is there anything I can help you with at the moment? So at least they don't feel left out. And
wow.
So it's just at least while I call them back. And typically I do answer like within the first couple of rings, first few rings. And then if I do miss a call, I do try to call back within 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, but at least having that, it helps.
Yeah, my thing is, as long as you're acknowledged. Because have you ever called a business and it goes like, first of all, it goes to like a voicemail of a cell phone, which if I'm calling a brick and mortar because I need to go to get this, a lot of times you're able to look for, you know, like for in my business, if someone needs a notary public, right? I'm gonna want to call a business that has a structure with hours, right? So notary publics, you can find them at like UPS's or, you know, AAA, whatever. But when you look notary public, it's saturated with ads and stuff. So if you call the first one, chances are they're not gonna answer because it's probably a virtual or a mobile, which there's nothing wrong with mobile, but I feel like we're missing the human interaction. Yeah. And so that's what I don't want to replace just yet.
No, yeah. I mean, it's still pretty brand new. Like this whole AI stuff is like trying to still get it to accommodate to the actual human aspect of it. I'm not sure if is it going to happen? Probably, right?
And then the thing is too, in our business, I deal with a lot of Latino Spanish speakers. So that's very important to me. Like anytime that, this is something I learned when I first started because I started working at a tax office and then the business sold and that's how I got kind of moving on my own. So we used to have to answer the phone in Spanish. We worked in East LA near the Mercadito. So I loved working in East LA. I miss East LA so much, but those were my stomping grounds for work. And we needed to answer the phone in Spanish, and the owner was very particular. He goes, if they look like they are Indian, Asian, no matter, like, how would I say? I can't say the name, but it would be like, oficina, ¿cómo le puedo ayudar? Or bienvenido, ¿cómo le puedo ayudar? And then when they spoke to us in English, then we would reply in English. So that's one of the things that Spanish is a must in my office.
Yeah, but it's like you're within that market. Like there's there's way more Latinos out here than you know, pretty much anywhere else.
And I feel like the Latinos are the ones out here spending the money.
Yeah.
So a lot of the young adults that are able to do things, they're doing things online, virtually, you know. And so then that's where we're able to cater to those clients. I didn't know, but my girl Izzy, she has a handful of clients that she deals with via text DocuSign. She's like, they don't, because we have a when you're checking out of our sign up for an appointment, we ask what your preference, virtual, in person, or phone. And some people they'll put other text. So she'll be texting them like, hey, what?
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like nowadays, everybody wants to
accommodate.
Yeah. I mean, unless it's like even my mom now, she's like, oh, le voy a hacer FaceTime, le voy a mandar mensajes. It's not no more.
Do your parents prefer to go to a business to do something real quick, right? Yeah. And you're and like me too. Like I don't
more virtual or
I don't go to grocery. I don't shop for my groceries. I have them delivered.
Yeah.
I don't have time.
I don't like shopping either.
I like to shop, but the thing is that if you think about, like I was just telling somebody that was here earlier, I was like, I don't shop. I feel like I save money because I know that I need these items versus going in. I'm going to get those items or possibly forget one item.
And bring everything else but the item?
Yeah. So I'm like, no. Mejor I'll do my shopping list and I could have it delivered by the end of the day or early the next day, just.
Yeah, that does happen.
Because you have to like find a parking. First you got to drive there, find a parking. Get a shopping cart, walk around the store,
find the shit,
load your stuff, unload to pay, load again to put in your car to load again, unload to the house.
Damn, I didn't even think about that whole process.
Who got time for that? Not me.
That was me yesterday.
No way.
Last night I was literally mean Walmart. I was like,
I love Walmart.
I ain't got this.
I shop Walmart. I shop Walmart and they deliver over $35 for free, so you could pick a slot.
Well, it makes it easier when you actually shop online because you don't overshop.
Yeah.
But
and then you get right to it.
Well, I don't know. I still gotta figure out a way to get all this done. I know my wife does that a lot.
Yeah.
Where she's like, I'm just gonna get this. I was like, dude, the fucking delivery fee. It's like for only you might as well make a whole list out of it.
I think Uber Eats, Uber those they charge, but like Walmart app.
Over $35.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to start doing that.
Yeah, and then if you want like a rush, they charge you like I think between $10 and $5, which is within the next hour you'll have it delivered. Or if you want to do between 5 and 6, it's zero charge. So it just takes some planning. But I
which I suck at.
But you know what? Aside from I feel like there's a lot of mental health issues out there, like a lot of road rage. Sometimes I just want to take sometimes I just want to take myself out of predicaments.
Yeah.
So, if I could avoid fighting for a parking at Walmart and getting violent.
Seriously.
Like,
I don't even know, man.
I do have my guns.
I don't want none of this.
Like the other day, this guy cut me off and he was like trying to brake check me and I was minding my own business on the regulars, like not in the fast lane, in the regular. And I'm like, wow, like, you don't know who you're doing things to. Like me, like, I have a gun. I have guns. And if I want, if I was crazy, I could have, and so those are the things that I worry about people. I'm like, you guys don't measure the consequences because I could have been a crazy person, like you never know. You never know what they're going through. They could be having a bad day, a bad moment, a bad hour, and boom, there you know.
Right now that you mentioned that, one thing I learned was let people keep their anger, let people keep their attitude. It's like what they're having and going through is for them. It's not for you to tag along and make it worse or kind of be part of that.
Nope. So that's why I'm very because I don't know. I think I watch too much and too much. I'm just too much into like what's happening and what because I want to know what's happening in my community. I want to know who's moving in. I want to know if there's any registered sex offenders in my area. So I'm like connected to the blogs, like not too much the news, but the blogs like in the area, like, hey guys,
like from actual people.
Yeah, y se pasan sometimes, like, oh, I lost my cat or I lost my dog, and I'm like,
that sounds like next door for us. Like, dude.
So I'm like, okay.
So I mean, I'm pretty. Yeah, we already reached it. So let me ask you this.
Yes.
Again, I just want to say thank you again, right,
for
giving me the opportunity and time to come and check out your business.
No worries. Yes.
Hopefully, you guys got some golden nugs, some good golden nugs from Pam.
Yes.
I know I did. As you guys can see, she's very knowledgeable in her industry and what she does. So if you guys need any type of help, my gamblers, hit her up. Gamblers unite.
Yeah, I'm gonna be. There's just so many things. I'm going to try to do more lives and just go out there and just answer questions without having to book a discovery call. So I'll be, if you guys follow Tax Girl 626, I'll be doing more lives in the evening, ya cuando están en la casa.
Oh yeah. I'm trying to get that lives too, but it's just like, what the hell do I? How do I even get people to be like, you want your garage to replace? And then it's like, well, you know, there's some like now that I one thing that I got from Diego after the 5K Master or the Inner Circle, sorry, I don't know who he was talking to, but I was kind of ear hustling passing by, and he was telling him, it's like, well, what did you post about today? He goes, I posted, I think it was like, about my car or about my fitness. It's like, well, are you a fitness guy? No. Is it making you money? Are you training people? It's like, no. So why the fuck are you posting about that? Like, post about what you do. You know, like, that's what's going to make your family money. That's what's going to make you money. Like, you post about what makes you money. Don't post about, you're going to be working on a car. Okay, well, that's cool and all. You're getting attention, but is that going to make you money? You know?
Well, I think that's debatable.
You think so?
I think so.
I mean, for attention, yeah, but like the way I look at it is like, I'm actually on social media to put myself out there with what I do.
I think you're doing great. Yeah. I think you're doing great, and everybody has to try their own thing. You measure your engagement. Yes, I do taxes, but people come to me because I share snippets of my life and what I do, and people enjoy it. Those get more views. Me being at the yes. So maybe and you'll be surprised because I've been working on my fitness. I've been eating different. I've been working on it, and the response I get from posting, oh my God, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that. Like, I get hundreds of interactions and like hundreds more, than sometimes I get on a tax thing. So I feel like sometimes people want to get to know, you know.
It's easier to do business with someone that you know.
Or you feel you know, because I've met people I've met Instagram friends that I'm like, they're like, oh my God, I feel like I know you. And they'll be like, how's your son? How's Sebastian? How's Christopher? And I'm like, but I know. And I'm like, they're great. Thank you for asking. Like, but because I've shared those things, you know, and I love to share that. Yes, I work. I have this. I have that. I think since I've had my Rolls Royce, I have not put more than like 500-600 miles on it. Like, you know, when you reach a certain level, you know, I will tell you that dealing with people that have left us, you know, I've dealt with clients that no longer are. So I'm just realizing right now that the material stuff is great, but making memories with your family it's just priceless. That is worth a lot more. I look at the Rolls Royce in my garage every day and I feel fucking proud. I'm like, hell yeah. But I'm like, all right, I don't drive it. For what? Like, but it's there, you know what I mean? And that's just something for me to be like, I did that, you know what I mean? I did that. I was born in Mexico. I was born in Mexico, in Tijuana, Baja California. I was here an immigrant. I didn't have papers. Nothing was handed to me. I was oldest of 5, single mother, 5 kids. You know, I shared a little bit about what I went through, you know, waiting outside of the school for hours, going to like, I want to say I went to like 12 different elementary schools. Like, I knew kids everywhere.
We're from you mess with me here, you mess with everybody.
No, I was very, imagine, you know, worrying about making friends. It's a cruel world, you know. So, you know, there's a lot of things that I don't really speak about because I don't like the victim mentality. Like, you know, I don't want no one to feel sorry for me. Like, but all I'm saying is that if you're a single mother going through it or a single father going through it, there might be maybe some hurdles, maybe your legal status. There's no excuse. This is definitely the land of opportunity. I can tell you that a handful of my clients that are like probably the higher earners are undocumented. So there's no excuse. You just have to have las ganas to do what you gotta do, and you have to have that GPS in your life. Where are you going? Why are you working? Yeah, we always say my whys, we put our kids. No, but like what? Why? How?
Like what
like
are
we doing?
The selfish why.
Yeah, like, you know, and so, you know, if there's anything you guys could take away from this, it's just, you know, you might want this and this and that, but why? What is that going to do for you? I could tell you that looking at that car is definitely, it was a very fulfilling moment. And I love it, and it's amazing to go out and feel like, you know what? But now you got other problems. Now you got to worry about, is someone following me? Which I could share. I've been followed. Is someone, you know what? Like now you're putting yourself in different predicaments because of the times we're living in. So, you know, a lot of these people that are very well off, they don't even have cars. They got drivers, they're Ubering it, like they're super low key. So I try to definitely live a low key life. So that's why, I hear what people say, post this, post that. And my take is my opinion is I'll show snippets of things, This is what it is. That doesn't define me. Because the reality is things come and go.
Yeah.
You could lose things from one day to another. We're at an age where you have to consider now your health is important. Cancer, it's everywhere. Like people are freaking dying, the days are numbered. So that's one of the things that I'm like, okay, I'm happy, I'm grateful, I'm thankful, and the Lord has provided everything I need, and I'm grateful for that. ¿Estás llorando? I made you cry?
No. No digas la gana.
Made you cry. So,
ever since the allergies hit me about 2-3 months, when the sun started coming out,
yeah,
I ended up congested.
Yeah.
And then ever since that, like my congestion went away, but I feel like I still got like the mucus in my skull or something, and they just kind of, I get like really bad.
I seen a recipe on TikTok, like if you if you boil onion, garlic, and Vicks, and you smell it.
Oh no, yeah, todos los poros se te abren con eso.
Yeah. You might want to try that.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, I would say if you do good business, good results are going to come. Work at your pace. Don't compare yourselves to the Joneses. Do what you do what you can. Monitor your progress. And don't compare yourself to other people, because God is the one that is in charge of where we're going. My faith is 100% on point. If I needed to be here now, that's because the Lord, this is where He put me. So I was a worrier before, like I would worry about everything. But I have no control of things. I just have to show up, be the best version of myself. Mm-hmm. And if the Lord said you need a Rolls Royce in your job, then He got me the Rolls Royce. I just put a picture and I asked. And I said, hey, I need that.
That's beautiful. So let me ask you this so we can end it. What does it mean to be a guerrera to you?
Oh, wow. It's a guerrera is definitely a fearless, unstoppable person. If you tell me no, that's probably when I go the hardest. Like, if you tell me no, you can't do that, well, let me fucking figure it out. Because He said, puede. There's going to be a way to figure it out. Like, I will kick the door down, I will go under, I will go around, I will...
Well, one way or another is going to
hop over. Right? Yeah, like, that's the thing, is that, like, different things feel different ways, right? Mm-hmm. I think Patrick Bet-David said, he goes the hardest when people are, belittling his ideas, or when they think, it sounds like a joke, and look at he's, jokes on them. Yeah, like Patrick is amazing. So I try not to saturate my brain with, I love mentorship, I love reading, I love, but I like to just stick to a certain topic or subject for a certain amount of time until I grasp that and I apply it. Then that's when I move on to the next thing. That's how I roll, because there's a lot of content out there, and by the time, so that's why at the masterminds too, like but by day 3 I'm done. Like, I have to implement what I can.
Yeah.
Because if I want to do everything that everybody does, I'm gonna set myself up for failure, and I'm gonna be disappointed in myself.
You gotta take at least that one. Well, for me, I take 3 to 5 good nugs that I can apply. Go back, apply them, figure them out, and then just execute them. Yeah. Because it's like, even like I always carry like my books with me, but I still have like the notes from that day. I was like, all right, well, I still need to build this. I still need to build this. Like, I have a to-do list, right? So when I go back, like, okay, well, now I need to figure this out. Like, for the longest, I've been trying to figure out the SOPs. Like, okay, now we got that going on. Oh shit, now to figure out who I'm actually saying. Okay, now we're surfing. Like, little by little, build on this stuff. But I'm with you. Like, you can be. Albert Driven Academy has literally been my only mentor. Yeah, my only events, my only mentor. I don't want to. And I'm kind of with you on that because I don't want to go to this event and that event and then this event and try this and try that. And I'm like all over the place. And it's like, but what am I actually doing? Like I'm everywhere, but I'm nowhere.
Exactly.
You know? So it's like setting up myself for failure. It's just
exactly.
Not,
no, and I don't.
out.
It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't sit well because then that's when the discouraging mindset. You know, like oh no, I ain't doing shit, but you are. And that's another thing too is that like I don't know why it is this way, but I've gone to other events and people talk crap about other events and this and that, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm like I don't know, I'm just there because I learn and you know. And I love to be around positive people. Albert and Sil, I love them. I love their energy. And they definitely are, like Sil, like, I'm like, wow, she's like super mom, you know?
Yeah.
And so then that's someone that I'm like, okay, the reality is, yeah, they probably have problems every day, all day, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, like, they have kids and you see how they balance that. That to me, that is definitely something that, that I could relate to, and I want to be the better version of myself as a mother. Because my goal is obviously, you know, my goal. Primero Dios, you know, hopefully my kids retire me or, you know what I mean? I want my kids to take care of me.
Like, I got a few of them, one's going to hit the bottom.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, so you know, if you're a good parent, hopefully, I mean, my son says he's going to be like a super major soccer star, and I'm like, yes. And he says I don't have to worry about cooking, so he says he'll have a chef. So I'm like, sign me up.
Hey man, I've been trying to work on that too. I was like, I need someone to come to my house once a week.
Yeah.
And cook and meal prep for us.
Yeah.
And have all this stuff ready so I don't have to worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like so far, I got someone that does my lawn. I was like, that's good enough for me. I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
we
you
need
delegate. Yeah, that could do that. Yeah, definitely would help your wife definitely relax a little bit.
Yeah.
That way.
Help her relax, help me relax.
Well, yeah, because if she's tense when you get home because, you know, she's been with the
los
baby all
madrazos.
day. Yeah.
No, it's like,
no, yeah.
Bob and weave, Bob and weave.
You know, it's a lot
it's
of.
Me, baby.
So let me tell you that being home, I've had to be home on different occasions because maybe I was sick or something, you know. It's a lot of work to be home. Believe it or not, people might talk shit. I mean, be like, what the fuck is she talking about? No, like being at home with a child and just being alert and, you know, your mind can play tricks on you because, you know, being at home and having a routine, I don't know what her routine is, but just definitely be patient because it's not for everybody. Like me, if I'm at home like 2-3 days, I feel sick. I'm like, oh my god.
You've been working since like the young days.
I can't.
I mean, you seem like pretty young.
Yeah.
Not calling you old, of course,
Yeah,
right? But
thank you.
what I'm saying is like the way we got raised, and I'm pretty sure you can relate to this is, si nos sentamos, like we sit down we need to find something to do because we cannot sit down. We can't sit still.
Like you've seen me fidgeting right now.
Yeah, like, even my feet are like bouncing around and stuff.
I'm like, oh, they're typing.
So thank you once again, Pam, for again, like I said, having me here, allowing me to come and interview you on a good subject that not everybody's too familiar with.
Yeah.
We know there's Uncle Sam, we just don't know how to deal with it, right? Some of us just too scared, or we just a little behind.
Uncle Sam is always going to be available to set up a payment arrangement, you know, and if you owe them, obviously they're going to make money off the interest and penalties and stuff. So, you know, if you have any tax situations, definitely DM me and we could definitely see what the solution is.
And you guys will have her info at the beginning or even right now at the end. We'll put all her information so you guys can definitely get a hold of her.
Yeah.
And again, guys, if you guys stayed till then, I appreciate you. Thank you. Drop a comment, drop a like. And guerreros, let's go.
Échale ganas.
There you go.
Yes.
Beautiful.